My daughter's Girl Scout troop was interested in earning their archery badge, so I wanted to see if the least expensive bow and arrow set found online was actually any good.
Hi, Moondog here. Now, not every weapon that I review is a firearm. In fact, today I'm going old school, very old school. I'm going to be reviewing this bow and arrow kit. Now, my daughter's Girl Scout troop is earning their archery badge, so I thought I'd pick up a few extra bows and arrows for the girls in the troop to use. And the first thing that I noticed when I first got it was, oh my gosh, this thing is tiny. Did I accidentally purchase a toy bow kit? And the name, Panda-R. All of these things did not bode well in terms of my confidence of what I just purchased. But let's take a look actually what you get inside. All right, so upon opening it up, one of the key things, one of the reasons I picked this up was it was about 30 bucks for this entire kit, and which is about how much I paid for this Barnett Quicksilver bow, but it only came with 2 arrows. This one comes with 6, so that's actually, you know, the right amount, I think, for a good practice session, especially for, you know, learning to use a bow. I mean, 2 arrows, just constantly shooting and then picking up 2 arrows at a time is kind of annoying. The fact that it comes with 6, you know, a half dozen this is the right amount. So it comes with 6 arrows, and you know, they were about on par to what I was expecting for a budget arrow kit. The arrowhead, this is a Target arrowhead, and it's kind of dull, but that's typical for youth arrows. I guess the thinking is if it's not sharp, then it really can't hurt them. But to be honest, if you really wanted to, you could. You know, it's a starter bow set. So let's take a look at the bow itself. It comes with 1 arm, and the second arm, and a string. So this is the 2 parts of the bow. One arm is already attached to the handle, and the handle here, as you can see here, the one thing that this box did not come with, oddly enough, is instructions on how to assemble this bow. So I'll show you here because I think that's an oversight. Definitely did not come with any instructions. So you take your bow, and this is the lower half because you would hold it, you would grasp it like this, and you'd lay your arrow in this little shelf on either side depending on whether you're right or left-handed. And there's a little slot on the top, and that's where you stick the arm. Now, one thing this doesn't have, like my full-sized recurve bow, takedown bow, is it doesn't have any lock in it. So it just fits in like that, just by pressure, and it's kept in by the tension of the string. All right, so let's take the string, and it comes with finger savers, which are these rubber covers, and that's where your fingers would go over. So that's great for young or new shooters, so you don't have to buy them a glove, an archery glove, or a finger tab, and teach them how to use that. They can just pull the string with their raw fingers. And to be honest, when I first learned archery at Boy Scout camp, we didn't have these things. We just used our fingers. But anyway, what you want to do is take your bow and figure out which is the top. And the top is, in this case, the area where you have the shelf and the handle here. You'd hold it like this. So this is the top of the bow. And then you want to look on the string and where the finger savers are. The finger savers are split up into 2 parts. There's the shorter end and the longer end. The shorter end denotes the top. Okay, I want to show you how easy it is to string your bow. So you want to take your bowstring and find the end that corresponds to the bottom, which is with the longer set of finger savers here. And you just want to find the end of the bowstring where the loop is. Now, take that loop and put it around the lower end of your bow, where that little hook is at the tip. And then you want to take this tip and you want to place it on the top of your foot, in the front. I guess this is called the instep, where it meets your ankle. And then you want to place it there and keep tension on the bowstring so that the loop doesn't fall out. And then you just want to step over your bow arm. Now, if this was a full-size bow, you'd be wrapping this bow around your leg, your thigh. But because it's so short, I'm going to wrap it around my calf so you can see. but you would just hold the other arm of your bow firmly with your hand, grasp it, and just gently bend back until you can get the other end of your bowstring, the other loop, around the other tip. And there you go. Your bow is strung. And you can unstring it the reverse order. You just, again, put this on your instep, step through your bow, get the bow around your leg, or in this case my calf, holding the other bow arm firmly, press down until you can release the tension on the bowstring and take the loop off. There you go, it's off. But we're going to the range, so we want to keep this on, so we can try it out at the range. Okay, so let's get going.
So I thought the best way to test out the Panda-R was to take my daughter to the archery range and have her try it out. Now, my daughter is familiar with shooting a bow and arrow, but what we found with this particular set was that the bowstring was much thinner than her bow, and that the arrows didn't securely knock onto the bowstring. I had to teach her the old school method that I learned in summer camp with a straight bow, where you actually have to hold the shaft on the bow with your index finger while simultaneously keeping the knock on the bowstring with 2 fingers on your draw hand. She eventually got it, but I think she preferred her green bow with the built-in arrow rest. Now, traditionalists may eschew arrow rests, but I really would recommend those cheap little plastic accessories. I know it's a modern convenience, but it really allows a new archer to concentrate on more important things than keeping their arrow on their bow. More important things like their draw, their aim, and their release.
Okay. Very good. You would have gotten it right on the red if these were at all sharp.
Yeah, it's not sharp at all.
Yeah, they're just pretty dull. They're for safety.
So next, I gave it a go. I found that I too had difficulty keeping my 30-inch carbon arrows knocked on the thin string. And the finger savers on the bowstring really don't lend themselves well to an Asian-style thumb draw. They really function better with an English-style 3-finger draw. But what I did find after shooting it was that I was actually pleasantly surprised with this $30 bow. And for sure, you're going to want to upgrade from the dull safety arrows that come with a kit, but you're going to want to buy a bunch of extra arrows anyway, because believe me, beginner archers are going to lose and break arrows. And you can easily fix the arrow slipping out of the bowstring issue with just tying a thicker serving on the string.
Okay, so what we found was that the string was just too thin to hold the arrow in place when you knock it. It just slips right out, and that was a bit of frustration. So what you would want to do properly is you'd want to shore your string, or buy a replacement string that was shored. And shoring is wrapping a thread around, just winding it around the midsection of your bowstring to thicken it up, and that adds additional strength and protection to your bowstring, because that's where you're going to be pulling on it as well as knocking your arrow to it. But I'll include a link to a video showing you how to do that. But obviously that's a lot more work than you'd probably want to get into, and maybe this is more work than you'd want from a beginner bow. So I'm going to show you this just quick little hack here. What you can do is just take some electrical tape or duct tape, or better yet, gaffer's tape, and you just want to cut off a little sliver of it. In this case, probably just about 1 inch, and just enough to cover your knock area between your finger savers. And you just wrap that around and tightly. And this should be good enough for, the first couple of dozen trips to the archery range. And then if your kid really likes archery, then you can get them a more advanced bow or get a new string or whatnot. But this should be fine. And then it should be thick enough now that when you knock it, yep, there you go.
So if you're interested in picking up this bow set, I'll include a link in the video description. And if you enjoyed this video and found it to be at all helpful, please hit the like button and consider subscribing and hitting the notification bell to get more content like this. Thanks for watching. You be safe out there. Moondog, out. Hey, if you like this video, please share it on social media. You know, Facebook, forums, MeWe, whatever platform you're on. And if you want to see more videos, check out moondogindustries.com.